Hey everybody, Hammer Time here. I started a YouTube game here as a favor um, to to a player who's going to be attending a tournament in a few weeks, and he wanted to just get a game under his belt before he headed over. Um, Sometimes people aren't able to play for a few months or even longer than that, just because of life's busy, you know. So I'm playing this game just to, even though it's a very experienced player, they know everything. It's just nice to get a little warm-up game under your belt before you head to a tournament. So I have to wait to get into my videos on doing specific moves because I want the board set up so I can actually show you moving these pieces and whatnot as I'm talking about them. So I have a video here that I just want to throw out there. I figured, well, what can I do a video on here? Because this game might take a week or two, and I didn't want to wait that long. So I wanted to get a video in on something that I could do without necessarily not having to have the board. And also, guys, this game here, I'm never going to say who it's against or anything like that. I did do a video on what my UK strategy here is going to be. We just started with Germany 1 and Russia 1 on the Allies. So what I'm going to do with this game also for this series is I'm going to tape all these turns on what I see the opponent doing, what I'm thinking, what you guys should be looking for, and all that to help show you during a real game. So I'm going to have that as one video. But anyways, so let me get into this video. I want to, in this one, what I can talk about, since I don't have the board dedicated to being able to do my moves, I'm going to talk about a few things: the psychology and breakdowns in the game. I have a lot of players. I see a lot of players, and a lot of players have responded to me on what they want to learn is that after a few rounds or so, or maybe even right off the bat, I don't know, is their play, their strategy, their moves, what the opponent's doing to them. They start breaking down. And your opponent is starting to do whatever they want against you. Almost anywhere that they want to do it, you start breaking down. And if you're the Axis, that means you're stalling out and you're not able to break out and accomplish on what you want to do. Or if you're the Allies and you're playing against the Axis player, the Axis are just able to break out almost everywhere they want to break out, and there's just nothing you can do. So I have a lot of players that are having this problem. So this video, I'm going to have a few suggestions here, and I'll talk on about a few other things. But here's what I'm going to start saying about that. And this is for new players, newer players, and players that's been in the game for a while but just can't seem to, take the next step to becoming better. So this isn't for any experienced players who are good or great or elite. You guys already know what to do here. So here's my suggestion, and this is I do all this off experience. What do? I don't throw crap out there that I've never done, because how do I know if it works or not? How do I know I'm not going to steer you the wrong way? So this is what I do. This is what I did. As Germany, Japan, and Italy, which are all three Axis players, in your next couple games, this is what I want you to do for your first 2, hopefully 3 rounds of buys. I want you to buy all infantry, except you get one unit, one piece that includes any minor factories or air bases or naval bases. For those all 3 Axis powers, you have to purchase all infantry, and 1 unit can be something else. Like it could be for Germany, it could be a bomber and all infantry. It could be a tank and all infantry. For Japan, you could buy a transport and all infantry. You could buy a miner and all infantry. For Italy, it's a little harder because they don't have as much money, but start 2nd, 3rd round, you should be getting some good NOs and some income. So it could be transport and all infantry. But for the Axis powers, you must only buy all infantry except for 1 unit. You're allowed to buy something else. Same with Russia. Same with UK on the Allies side. For the first 2 or 3 rounds. Try to do it 3 rounds. They get all infantry except for 1 unit, which includes any miner or any miners. That is considered one of your purchases. That is not an infantry. So UK, you could buy a miner and all infantry. USA is a little different since they have an ocean that you got to prepare for to cross. So here's what I'm going to say about USA for your buys. I'm going to limit you. I want you to limit yourself, 1 capital ship only for the first 3 rounds. 1 capital ship only is all you can buy. The rest has to be your, destroyers or a sub or some transports, some artillery infantry combination to load your transports. But you're limited to 1 capital ship only. Now, why suggest this, Hammer Time? Well, for a number of reasons. Number 1, since you all are having problems with breakdowns, you guys, let me see here. Let me just pick up a Russian guy. This doesn't mean it's just for Russia, but look at this right here. The infantry. I am telling you guys, I don't care what anybody else says. I really don't. I don't care what anybody else says. This guy right here, this beautiful piece, the infantry, is the most powerful, most important piece in this game that there is. Hands down. If anybody else tells you it's not, they don't know the game. The infantry in this game is how you're going to win or to lose the game. So, that's one reason why I'm making you buy all infantry and only 1 other unit each round for the first 3 rounds. If you do it, I guarantee you're going to see all my points. You're going to see your play get better. It will also help out. I see you guys break down there in these games because your builds that you're buying are no good. Your strategy and what the opponent's doing to you and what you're buying and where you're placing them is wrong. That's another reason why you guys are breaking down on all these fronts, is because and like I said, these videos are for you to be able to compete against people who are much better than you. So these people who are much better than you are reading what you're buying and where you're putting them, and they're taking advantage of you. It's plain and simple. That's how you defeat somebody, is you take advantage of their mistakes and your errors. And what you're buying and where you're placing them is a big part of why you're breaking down on the fronts in this game. On the China front, or if you're Germany, on the Russian front, or if you're Russia, you're breaking down here, or you're UK or something, and you're getting walloped here in Cairo and in Africa or Middle East. It's because of your buys. Another reason why I want you to do this buy for the first 3 rounds is because it helps you. Here's the board set up. well, we've already played Germany and Russia. But anyways, when your board's set up, you already have units on the board that you start with. And there's some very valuable units. Germany has 9 tanks and an air force. I think, 5 TACs, 5 fighters, and 2 bombers? Japan has, I don't even know how many aircraft. 19, 20, 21? I don't know. 3 transports. Some nice infantry sitting here on the coastline. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 in Manchuria. And you got 2 sitting on Tokyo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 infantry you start the game with in a tank. Okay? That's nothing to slouch over. UK starts out with a nice air force. They really do. Between the Pacific and the Middle East here, Africa and London. So when you do this infantry buy, it is when you start moving them in the right locations, you're going to see that you're protecting the pieces that are already on the board at the start of the game. Another reason why I want you to purchase these, how do I put it? Well, the reason why I want you to do these purchase also is your stacks on the front lines, like especially here in Germany and Russia, regardless of what side you are. Your front line here with the fight over Cairo or Gibraltar, over here in China and UK and Southeast Asia, and even the fronts on the sea battles too. When you start breaking down, the enemy, your opponent is going to take advantage of you. And that's why these infantry are so important, because they help keep your frontline stacks as powerful as can be. The more infantry you have to defend with or even attack with to use as fodder, which means casualties, the better off you're going to be. You're coming in here on Russia with Germany with tanks and artillery, and you come in with, let's say 25 of those, but you have only 25 infantry. Well, the Russian player, if they're a lot better than you, are definitely going to have a combination where they have 50 infantry. Okay? And so they're going to eat into your infantry to where now, after the second, third round, they're going to start eating into your artillery and tanks. Or vice versa. The German guy came in with 40 infantry on you. You have 40 infantry. He used his air force and tanks and artillery on you. And by the start of the third round, your infantry is almost depleted. And this is throughout any front on the board. Guys, the infantry is so important in this game. I know you guys love buying tanks and fighters and tacticals and strategic bombers. You love buying aircraft carriers and battleships and, big shiny fleet that's nothing but a hunk of metal sitting in the water because there's no points to get. Name me 1 point on this board, guys, or ask yourself, what point on this board can a battleship go get by itself? Or a big fleet? None. Yes, they can move units around that can get those points, but still at that, there's not a single point on this board that a battleship, that 5 battleships and 5 aircraft carriers loaded can go get themselves. So keep that in mind. Infantry. Do this buy for your next 2 games, for the first 3 rounds. And then after that, what will happen is for Germany, you did all your buys with infantry, right? Round 2, you railed them over. Or you used your strategic bombers to do bomber drops down here on non-coms to get some men down here in Africa. And I guarantee you, no matter what country you're playing, that you're using this all infantry except for 1 unit by. It doesn't matter what country on this board besides America. I already gave you the exception. It doesn't matter what country on this board you're playing. This is going to help you with a number of things that I just said. It's going to lay a foundation for you to be a better buyer, a smarter person on your buys and placements in this game. Because you're going to see, and do this for the first 2 games that you play. Blame it on me. Tell them, hey, because look, guys. Look at how your games are going anyways right now. And you're doing it on your own, or you're doing it from, you're copying someone's YouTube game and trying to do what they do. And it's not working, right? It's not working. You're consistently getting beat by almost every other player besides the player you play all the time. So you have to break away. This is psychology too. You have to finally be honest with yourself and say, hey, what I've been doing and what I've been trying to do is just not working. It's just not working. So here comes hammer time with my first 2 videos with stupid kindergarten stuff that I want you to try by laying the map out. And here in this video by doing nothing but all infantry except for 1 unit by. I know it's kindergarten, it's basic. I did it. I did it after my first 2 months when I finally had my fill of not learning. This is going to help you, I promise you. So just do it and try it. And what you're going to see after the second game is, and even during the first game in the later rounds, you're going to see that you're not breaking down on any front, okay? You might get stalled out with Germany and maybe Belarus or Bryansk or Smolensk. You might even get to attack Moscow with all those infantry you have, and maybe you win it, I don't know. But here's what it's supposed to do. It's not supposed to win a game for you right now in your next 2 games. It's supposed to teach you that how important these infantry guys are to your game. These guys here are going to stop you from breaking down and not being able to recover. Because the more infantry you have on this board, on whatever country or side you're playing, the easier it is to counter what your opponent is doing. If you got these little guys, especially along the fronts, you can shift them next to the territories over where you need them. You got the rail system where you can rail them 3 spots over. You have the strategic bombers in this game where you can load up 2 infantry and combat drop them or non-combat them into a territory. So you're going to have plenty of opportunity to move all these infantry guys that you're going to have in your next couple games when you do this build. And please, if you really want to learn this game and you're watching this video because you truly need to learn, then do this build. It's going to teach you. You're going to see in rounds 5, 6, 7, and 8 how easy it is to defend the coastline and Manila and Tokyo against the Allied fleet or the UK guys. You're going to have enough units to do it. You're going to have enough units over here to wherever it is on the board to stop any type of breakdown in this game. You know? It doesn't matter where it's at on the board. You're going to be able to rail some men and strategic bomb them or strategic transport them with your transporters. So you got to do this build for the first 3 rounds. Then you can adapt in rounds 4 through 8 in your games. Do this for 2 games in a row. And you're going to learn then. So as Germany, you did this build, right? And the game ended, and let's say you lost. But you didn't lose that bad. You made it almost to Moscow. Maybe you even attempted an invasion on Moscow. You came down here. You were able to get Cairo and hold it because you had so many infantry to protect it. And maybe you just fell short with 10 or 11 Axis victory points. Well, now, after you do that for 2 games, You got the experience now. So then on the third game, don't just get away from the infantry build, but now do this. As Germany, say, okay, I'm going to do what Hammer Time says. I'm going to buy all infantry, but now this game, in game 3, I get 2 units each round for the first 3 rounds to buy that are not infantry. And if you slowly do this, you're going to learn within yourself what pieces you need other than infantry to accomplish what you want to accomplish in this game. But I'm going to tell you that you should never, ever, ever get away from never buying infantry. It should always be, when you get to each country, this should always be your first question, like with UK or Germany or anybody. My first turn, I grab my money. How much money do I have for whatever country I'm getting ready to play? How much money do I have? Then I say, okay, I look at the board and I assess everything, and I'd be like, how many infantry do I need to not only keep my fronts stacked and powerful with fodder, with casualties, but also in defense? And then from there, then I see, after I tell myself I need 5 of these or 6 of these, I place them out in my build, and then I see how much money I have left, and that is what I use for other pieces. Where did I get this guy from? I don't know. I'll find it on the board. Anyways, so this is going to teach you a whole host of things. It's going to make your builds better, okay? By finally realizing that the foundation of your builds must be infantry. And if you do these builds, like I told you, you're gonna see how much better your game is just by not even know strategy. I'm not even talking strategy in this game. All I'm talking about is your builds and what it's gonna do for your breakdowns in the game. And I guarantee you, if you do the 1 unit and all infantry for 2 games, and then the 3rd and 4th game you do 2 units and all infantry, I guarantee you, after the 4 games, you're not going to have any major breakdowns anywhere. You might even start winning. And you're going to have a flood of units all over this board for whatever side or country you're playing. And then, that's everything in this game's about foundation. So now you're going to finally learn the foundation of what you need in this game when it comes to your builds and placements. You're going to find out how important the infantry are if you do this. And it's also going to help you out on the board by not having these massive breakdowns on your fronts to where your opponent is taking advantage of you and taking advantage of your bad buys and your bad placements of those buys. And you're gonna find out that, man, Hammer Time, having a lot more infantry on the board just with that in and of itself, I guarantee will help your game. It will help your game. And it's psychological too. Trying to teach you guys, and I'm gonna get into specifics with each country. I'm gonna get into specific moves. I'm gonna get into specific things. But in general, I can still talk about psychology here. You have to get away from what you see almost everybody else doing. You have to get away from what all the famous moves are on YouTube, and because I think it's outdated. It really is. You need to come up with a new, fresh outlook in this game to thrive. to change things, to be better. Do this by, I guarantee you, if you adhere by it and you say, screw it, I'm going to look like a fool for 2 games. I don't care. I'm going to try what Hammer Time says, and I'm going to see if he's right. And I guarantee you, after your first 2 games, and then turn in games 3 or 4, you up at the 2 units a buy. I guarantee you're going to find yourself in a lot better shape, guys. Your breakdowns are going to be not gone, but very reduced. And even if you do have a breakdown, you're going to have the units available. Okay? That's plain and simple. You know? It really is. Do this buy, and it's going to help. It's going to also help when you're trying to learn this game. It's going to help mask some of your errors that you do. Not all of them, but some of them. And I'll get into specifics. Like one, I'll just tell you right now. Germany, you guys go into Russia, right? And I see a lot of players, they get to Belarus or something, and they're going to veer off with half their German stack. They go up into Leningrad because they want to take Leningrad or something, and they leave the other half here or something. Well, when you're playing against good players, the Russian guy is going to say, man, he's going to be salivating because he's done a controlled withdrawal with all his stack here or here, and as soon as you break off some of your units, he's going to pounce on you and take off whatever stack you left, and then you're done with as German over here. And I've seen it recently many times, and I continue to see it all the time, even on YouTube games. So I'll get into specifics, but I just wanted to make a video here to really press upon these little guys here. I guarantee you, when you ask yourself, how do I stop breakdowns? How do I pivot when something's not going my way? How do I stop my opponent from just punching a big hole in me? And how do I rebound from that? And these right here are the best gift in this game. The infantry. This guy right here, when you have a bunch of red chips under him, is your secret weapon. He is the best that you're going to get in this game, and you need to take advantage of it. So I want you to do these builds, guys. Go back to the beginning. I already told you what they were. And I guarantee you it's going to teach you a whole number of things, not just one thing. It's really going to help you. So I will get back to specifics, or I'll start in on specifics when it comes to Axis side and the Allies side, when it comes to Germany and Japan and Italy, you know, and each country on the Allied side. But I wanted to shoot out a video here that I could at least get another video out since I can't use the board right now. And this is the perfect video to do it on. So in the next couple weeks, when you guys play your next game, implement this, man. Use this buy, and it's going to teach you a lot. It really will. So just do it. Play test it with, if you're a father and son at home, if you're friends in the same town, whoever you play with all the time, just tell them, hey man, let's get a game. I'm going to try something new because I need to reteach myself some things. And just use it. Just use it. Who cares what people think? Because 6 months down the road after you've done this and you've progressed on and your game's gotten a lot better, and now you're competing in one-on-one games or team games or tournament games or league games or whatever, it's not going to matter what you looked like 6 months ago, because what you're doing right now is not working, right? It's just not working. So I want to see some YouTube games, and I want people to post on here, hey, I did this, and let me know what you learned from it. And I guarantee you, if you just do this, you're gonna see that it is very beneficial. So I think I'm gonna be done with this video. It's already 30 minutes long talking about the infantry build, but that's how I am. So you guys be safe out there. Hope you guys are getting some games in. Experience counts, but so is the foundation. Foundation of the game is rules, knowing the map, and these little boogers right here, the infantry. It is the foundation of your attacks. It's the foundation of your defense. It's the foundation of your builds. It's the foundation of not breaking down on the fronts. It's the foundation of defending against massive fleets that a lot of you I see get scared of, and you shouldn't. It's the foundation of this game, is the infantry. They're cheap. They're $3. Buy them, and buy them in bulk like you're going to the Sam's Club. Just do it. And I guarantee you, after the next 4 games that you do the builds I told you, I guarantee you in your 5th game, you're going to have confidence. And I guarantee you, you're still going to continue to buy infantry like you should anyways. And you're going to see a whole improvement in your game just by doing this. And that's not even getting into any of the strategy stuff. Just do this build, and I guarantee you, you'll see a 50% increase in your game, if not better. I will bet money on that. You will see a 50% increase in your game if you do this build. Hammer time out.